Good evening, everyone at Turn One Podcast. This is Henry Kravitz here, and today I've got FMZ with me. Good evening, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
You weren't saying that before, were you? You was talking about
No, I
Tottenham
wasn't.
away. No, thrown away.
No. We threw it away yet again.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I thought I'd better bring it up. Just it's there for the podcast. A bit of difference to the podcast.
Yeah.
So, what got you, if you don't mind me asking, what got you into F1?
Formula One. So I started playing F1 '97 when the PlayStation came out, original one.
Yep.
And kind of just evolved from there. Really, I started watching it when ITV had it in the mid '90s with Martin and Murray.
Martin and Murray. What a combo that was.
That was a very good combo. I've since gone back and listened to him and James Hunt. And they're just as good, if not,
somebody said they were good.
It's quite a difficult thing to go, are they better? Because obviously it was a different time in the 80s, wasn't it, Formula One? So
I heard that James Hunt and Martin Brundle were good as a duo, if that makes sense.
Murray, you mean?
Yeah.
No, they were in terms of obviously, and that's how I got into it, sort of playing the F1 game, and then it evolved from that. Obviously, then it went to Sky. He went to the BBC for a while, didn't it, as well?
He did. Yes, he did go to the BBC.
Yeah. With what's his name, the bloke who does the football as well. Jonathan Legend. I didn't like Jonathan Legend.
I don't know, mate. There's been so many commentators, hasn't there, to be honest, over the years.
You've got James Allen as well, who used to do it. And
yeah, he's now got his own. He's running a motorsport.
They do their own. They do their own little thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Because I think he does the drivers' press conferences and things like that.
Yeah. Yes, I think he does. So what would you say? '97 was that the sort of the first?
Yeah, '97. I think that was the year it came out. Yeah.
Oh. So do you have a favourite team or favourite driver, or are you just a general fan of the sport?
I am a general fan of the sport. I generally tend to cheer on the British drivers, as you do. See, George Russell's doing fantastic at the moment.
Yep.
Obviously, Lewis, multiple-time world champion, and soon to be crowned champion again.
I have heard a rumour that he's not going to win it this year. Okay, Kubica's going to win it. So just going to throw it out there now. Kubica's going to win it.
If they start turning the track round the other way, then perhaps the Williams will get to the front. But it's sad to see them like it, though. It really is.
They are where they are because of how much they spend, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their budget constraints is showing where they are.
And they let Paddy Lowe design their car.
Well, you say that, but didn't he win? How many times did he win at Mercedes? One or two?
Yeah, but then he wasn't involved in developing the car, was he? I don't know.
But he would have been part of the team, wouldn't he? And
Possibly.
He has plenty of. The thing is, he's gone from Mercedes where they've got whatever you want, in essence.
Oh yeah. I understand the budgetary side of it.
Money resources. He's gone to Williams where, as what's his name said, I can't think of his name. Who was Massa's thing? Smedley.
Rob Smedley. Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Smedley said that when he left, he said, "Look, Williams can't afford to. Williams won't pay any money into R&D, so."
No, that's true, I suppose. Yeah, but to be a second and a half behind anybody before you'd even started.
Yeah.
Was,
It was a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh God, and that's why he lost his job.
Yeah.
And they got Patrick Head back, didn't they? So.
Yeah, they've said they're going to keep it in house now, aren't they?
Yeah, which is obviously they were. When did they finish third in the championship? They weren't last year, the year before, wasn't it?
3 or 4 years ago, because they did it twice, didn't they?
And you thought, this is it. Damon Hill, you thought the glory days were coming back for Williams, and then, now at the back of the grid. And in fairness, they're not at the moment. They 15th and 16th, I think they qualified last time, or 16th and 17th, because Russell's beaten Kubica all ends up.
Yeah, he has. He looks like a right talent, to be honest. I think
he does, and all right, Kubica's got the constraint with his arm, but I still think it was a bad decision to bring him back. To be honest.
I think he said that I think it was Monaco or what's the other street circuit before that in where
Valencia.
where Leclerc crashed in qualifying. He was going to get pole. Oh my God, Baku.
Baku.
That's it.
Oh, right,
I think he said one of those two was going to be the worst two for his hand for for the
Yeah,
racing and
'cause I think
qualifying.
it was the amount of turns they were going to have, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I think he said those two were his worst tracks. So now we can judge him on whether he's actually got the pace. I mean, when he did that test for Renault, he was like 9 tenths off. I think it was Palmer or something qualifying that.
Yeah,
So
but then it was Julian Palmer.
Yeah, but do you mean you think he'd be a second in
He
front?
wasn't that bad, was he?
You'd think he'd be a second in front of Palmer, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think the time away from the sport has
Done him.
not done him well.
No.
So I'm guessing that by that answer, you're a Williams fan then.
I don't really have a team. I don't
Okay.
really. I like the sport in general.
Ah, okay. You're a bit
So-
like one of our commentators, Lard. He's just a general fan of the sport, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it doesn't matter who wins as long as they go racing and it's entertaining to watch. It's good.
Yeah. What have you made of this year then so far?
So far this year, it's been funny as hell watching Sebastian Vettel being beaten by essentially a rookie.
But a quick rookie. I've just said Wookie there. I've just said Wookie there. It's not, yeah, but he's a quick.
Beaten by a Wookie, you might as well give up.
Yeah. He's very quick though, isn't he, Charles?
He is very, very quick. He was very quick with Sauber last year. And when they said they were going to take him to Ferrari, I was like, oh dear. And Sebastian doesn't like having his nose put out of joint.
It's only happened once before to him, though, isn't it? With Vettel, and that was Ricciardo, like Red Bull. Ricciardo comes in, starts beating him, and he leaves.
Yeah, because Sebastian throws his weight around, and I don't think you'll get that at Ferrari. Ferrari is bigger than Sebastian Vettel.
I think it's not been a match made in heaven, Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel.
No, and when you think how many world titles he won with Red Bull, all right, it was the better car. It was better than everybody else. You can't say that he didn't deserve to win them.
No.
But at the same time, now he's in a Ferrari that's not as quick, or is now quicker than what he was, but still isn't as quick. His mistakes are being shown up that more. So, I mean, look at Germany last year when he put it in the fence.
Do you think that they're his mistakes, or do you think they're the car not suiting his style then?
It might be a bit of both, to be honest. Yeah.
Because people do say that, don't they? They say about the car not really. I mean, Ferrari have admitted that the car doesn't suit his style, so.
So why did they build it?
This is what I don't understand. Because last year they had the perfect design of a racing car, because they essentially said, okay, everything needs to be good to have a really good racing car, and then from Singapore it just.
Yeah. Then the summer break happened, and Lewis Hamilton just hammer time, and
Mercedes just outgunned them.
Outgunned them
with the bits.
And then they just kept making silly mistake after silly mistake trying to catch up. Yeah.
Just all the parts that Mercedes were bringing to the car just seemed to work, and Ferrari had bits that didn't work or weren't working as well as they could. So with that in mind, do you think he'll be there next season? Do you think he'll go somewhere, or
I don't know where he can go. Obviously, Bottas and Hamilton are nailed in for next year.
Yep.
Red Bull are sorted for next year. I don't think they're going to change again. I think Alex Albon moving theirs, that's done.
I said Albon will have till the summer break next year to sort of show what he can do.
But I feel a bit sorry for Pierre Gasly.
I think if his best mate Hubert hadn't have died, I could have seen them two at Renault together.
Possibly, yeah.
I think those two, because that would have been a great partnership there, because they were best friends, weren't they? So I think I could have potentially seen that. I know.
Go on.
No, go on.
I thought he didn't get long enough. I thought when he took over from Daniel Ricciardo is a very hard act to follow, because he's so consistent.
Yeah.
With how he performs. You mean you're seeing it now with Renault? Obviously, it's taken them 11 races, 12 races, however many it is, to show the potential. But I think the 4th and 5th last time around shows there is potential in that car. And his decision to move to Red Bull, from Red Bull to Renault, is now looking like it was the right decision for him,
That
at
that
least.
that is if the Renault car is only suitable for tracks like Ferrari, like Monza, Canada,
Yeah.
and Belgium.
Where it's speed.
Because if there's no tracks like that between now and the end of the season, which I don't think there really is, then they may struggle again.
No, there's only Brazil's pretty quick, isn't it? Brazil's
Yeah.
it's a short lap, isn't it? So
Yeah, 72 seconds, I think it is.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, I
but
think
yeah, no, it's been good this year. It's been better after the first 6 or 7 races. Once Hamilton sort of got into the lead, he's going to go on and win the title. There's no doubt about that. Now Leclerc has kind of taken over Sebastian, who's now sort of level with Lewis. Obviously, you chuck Verstappen into that as well.
Yeah.
If that had started in Australia, we'd be saying this is the best F1 season since Hill and Schumacher back in the day.
that is big words to say, to be honest.
Well, it is, obviously
Yeah.
that championship was at 94, 95 when Hill I think it was 95 when Hill beat Schumacher to the title.
Yeah, because didn't Hill win it in 96 then? I'm testing you now, aren't I? Testing your brain.
97 was Jacques Villeneuve. Might be 96,
Do you know what? I'm
Have
not certain.
a Hoogle.
That's what I'm going to do, mate. 90 F1 season. 90...
Hold, please.
Please hold. Oh. Now it's telling me. Oh god, F2 instead of F1. There wouldn't have been an F2 season there.
Don't ask Alexa. She won't know anything.
Damon Hill won it in 96.
Oh, it was Damon Hill in 96.
With Williams Renault.
Yeah.
And he had Villeneuve as his teammate, didn't he?
And then Villeneuve won it in 97.
Yeah. There we go. We knew all this. We knew all this.
We knew all this. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
We're fine. So,
but so I think it is good. The racing is as good as it was back then in terms of those two, with them three being at the front of it. It will be interesting to see how it goes for the rest of the season. Obviously, Hamilton, as I said, Hamilton's going to win the title. Who will finish second? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Bottas myself.
You don't think he's going to be Bottas?
No, I don't. I don't understand why they keep going back to him, to be honest.
Oh, I've got a good thing on that because they've sent him. They've obviously sent Ocon out on a 2-year loan deal to Renault.
Yeah.
And obviously there is a deal on either side. So Renault, I think, potentially could sign him after that 2-year deal if they wanted to, or Mercedes could extend his contract if they wanted to.
Right.
I get the feeling that they don't. I don't think Ocon will drive for Mercedes.
No, they don't tend to do it, do they, with the reserve drivers? I mean, Red Bull with the exception. Everybody else just kind of farms them out and then lets them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from Ferrari with Charles Leclerc.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because they in essence they loaned him to Sauber because it was their seat at Sauber or Alfa Romeo as we know it now.
Yeah.
Season. Whereas Mercedes got George Russell at Williams.
Yeah.
And obviously Ocon at Renault next year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he starts off the season well, Bottas. He did this year, he did last year, and then he gets 5 or 6 races into the season and just loses it. And then, yeah.
What would you have done then? If you was Toto, what would you have done?
I'd have said to Max Verstappen, here is as much money as you like. Come and drive for me.
But do you think he would have gone there with Lewis in the car? Or do you think that they're going to go for him once Lewis says I've had enough? Do you think they're going to go for him anyway?
I think they probably will do. Yeah. It would be great to see another Rosberg and Hamilton scenario in terms of 2 brilliant drivers at the same team at the same time with the same car, because that season was amazing between those two. That crash in Spain, obviously.
That was amazing. That crash in Spain.
Yeah.
It's
And I think Nico Rosberg did the right thing by retiring after he'd won the title.
He didn't need to go through another season, finishing second.
He knew that Lewis would beat him the following season.
Oh yeah.
So he just decided, you know what? I've got my world title.
That's all I wanted.
Thanks very much.
I only wanted one I've got what I wanted. I'm going to retire now. See you later. Out.
Yeah.
See you later. I'm off.
I can now say to my dad, I have a world championship.
Yeah. I'll follow in your footsteps. I've got one now. See you later.
Then his dad will go, I've got 3. Is he 2 or 3? I think it's 3 he's got.
Shall I? Yeah, we know the answer to this. We just want to test you listening to this.
Yeah.
You're listening to this.
We're just doing a kind of quiz type thing.
We're testing you. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, then it's just he won it in 1982. He won it in 1982, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
That's. I know it's 1982 because I can see the. I just can see it through my eyes. I don't have an Alexa, so I can't ask Alexa, unfortunately.
Oh, hang on. Rosberg.
He was the first Finnish driver to compete regularly in the series of Formula One. There you go. There's a fun fact for you guys there. See, I know these facts. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that was brilliant. How you just pulled that off the top of your head, I've got no idea.
Oh, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think he won. I think he won one, didn't he? Did he win one? I like the fact
I'm just looking myself.
he's classed as Finnish, but he was born in Sweden.
There you go.
There you go.
Another fun fact.
I tell you, I come up with these fun facts. I tell you where I can tell you where he was born. He was born in Salina in Sweden. There you go.
Right, there's Keke. Hang on. Keke Rosberg. Oh, one world championship, 1982.
There we go.
So he equalled his dad. There you go. Yeah. So there's no arguments over the dinner table.
No.
They can both put their world championships on the table and just go, that's it.
Yeah, we've both won one each, and that's it now. So if we think that Verstappen, if obviously Mercedes have to be challenging in 2021, and if he was to go to Mercedes, that means that Ocon won't go to Mercedes because they won't have them to. So who would go in to that seat alongside Verstappen then?
Probably George Russell, I would have thought. If he carries on going how he's going.
Do you know what? I said this on the last podcast. I feel like somebody understands me for once. Somebody believes in the things I say. Yeah, I said that. I said Verstappen and Russell to Mercedes. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing at Ferrari. Gasly.
Yeah.
I tell you why. There's another fact coming out for you now. Another fact. Gasly and Leclerc have already been teammates. There you go. I'm throwing it out there.
So
I know.
They were teammates in F2.
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Now you're pushing it too far now. In the junior formula, at some point,
let's just widen it out a little bit. In the junior format of the Formula Series, they were teammates at some time in their life.
Yes, at some point in their growing racing careers, they've been teammates. There you go. I've said it. And I think, as he said, he said that Charles was quick.
And he
didn't matter what you could do. He was just quick. But I think Hubert would have been just as quick as him. See,
I don't really watch the F2 and the F3. I haven't actually seen the crash. I'm
going to say this now. Thank you, because I'm going to say this now. If you haven't seen the crash, then don't see it. I made that mistake of watching it, and
apparently it's horrendous. The crash.
They
practically split his car in two.
Well, the rear of the car separated from the cockpit.
So
in essence,
there's no chance.
Well, I don't know, because obviously they said he died in the medical centre. He didn't die on the track.
No.
So if he'd have died on the track, surely they would have just said he died on the track. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they would have worded it, but sure, I would have thought that if he'd have died on the track, they would have said he died on the track.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously there was I think a lot of people are trying to blame the drivers involved or the sashi makers now. Again, I'm going to have a bit of a rant.
All right, yeah, because it wasn't the sausage curve.
From what I have read on numerous websites, motorsport websites, it seems that we can't confirm this until the FSA, but Alesi may have had a puncture, and that's what caused him to go into the tyre barrier. Okay, It's been documented on websites. That's all I'm going to say, because we don't know until the FA say for certain, and we haven't got the data to say it was definitely this or that. But that's the chain reaction, and the driver behind him saw it all happen, managed to slow down quicker than Huber, but Huber was a lot closer than him, and then Huber lost his front wing, and unfortunately for Huber, the angle of his car going into the tyre barrier actually went against him in this one. And Korea, he'd done nothing wrong. He'd got to the top of the hill and decided, I'm going to go right, which is fair enough. And so at some point lost his front wing, and it looks like he got trapped underneath the car, and then that was it. Yeah. So, and we should say also that the Halo saved lives in that crash. The Halo saved 2 lives in that crash.
Yeah.
If you've got any doubts about the Halo, I mean, at the start of the season, until I saw it on the car, I didn't think it didn't look nice, but it's proved its worth already.
Oh yeah, no, it's an ugly bit of kit, but it's essential in this day and age. Obviously, the cars are going faster now than what they have done since the mid '80s. In terms of, obviously, I know the engine's turned down, but obviously with the turbos that they put on the car, with the drag reduction system, So it's amazing how it hasn't happened more often. Obviously, if you think about when the tyres come off the car, they come off the carcass complete now. They make sure that they do that. So they've made it as safe as they can. Obviously, it's racing at the end of the day. It's not, you're not pushing a shopping trolley around a supermarket.
It's not going to be, it's not always going to be safe. The only way you're going to make it safe is if you have 22 tracks that you built, you got somebody to build, and they were all sort of flat, and there's no like hills, and and I think that will take away, skills. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no sport is foolproof.
No.
I mean, I was unfortunate enough to be at a game when Fabrice Muamba collapsed.
Oh yes.
When we were playing Bolton in the Cup.
Yeah.
And that could have happened to any player on that field.
Oh yeah.
And it just happened to be him.
Yeah.
And that heart defect had been there for 5-6 years. It just so happened that it happened there and then.
We should point out in both instances, obviously Miranda, it was the medical staff, wasn't it, from both teams, if I remember correctly?
Both teams. A doctor ran from the East Stand as well.
Everybody helping out, and obviously there is a video on YouTube. I can't remember who posted it, of all the support vehicles going down the Kemmel Straight after what had happened. Not straight after, but obviously once they cleared the scene.
Yeah.
And the fans just on their feet, clapping every vehicle that went past. And it wasn't just one vehicle, there was about 30 odd vehicles, but they were clapping every single person that was there. And, and I think that, they've been there. There was people stood where what happened. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't get nightmares. I just hope, for anybody who was involved in that or saw that, I hope you don't get nightmares. And if you're starting to struggle with it, you talk to somebody about it.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want to hear in a year's time or 2 years' time or 18 months' time somebody killed themselves because they were having nightmares of the crash. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather somebody talk about it.
I mean, the weird thing with the Fabrice Muamba thing was when they were doing the chest compressions, people were cheering. We were standing there clapping as this, like we were, like our team was on the attack, sort of thing. It was so surreal to sit there and
You don't have a clue. To be fair, you wouldn't know what was going on. To be honest, you'd have just seen people around.
No, I didn't even see him go down.
Nah.
Something must have happened on the other side, because I'm normally really observant, and when a player goes down, because the guy who sits behind me is in his sort of early 60s, and he would normally say who's gone down, and then I'd look around and sort of work out who's on the floor,
who's gone down from either team.
Yeah.
But, we should now move away.
Yeah, move away from the darkness.
It's not darkness. It was just an incident that because of where it was got magnified because of the speeds that they were doing and the fact that they couldn't see anything until the last minute. So
No.
they want about putting a gravel trap in there. He was a gravel trap before. That's where what's his name broke his legs, if I remember correctly. Zonta.
Right. Yeah.
There, and I know Villeneuve had a bad accident there as well. Gravel traps is fine, but not at high speed.
No.
So
What they do in Sochi, the coloured paint is.
Well, that's what they do in France. They do it in France, don't they, as well?
Yeah, that would be a better solution
than
a gravel trap.
They can't really go anywhere there.
No, I suppose not, because it's quite
it's just
corner,
a drop.
isn't it?
It's just a drop. So they can't go left anywhere because you've got a grandstand there, and even if they took the grandstand away, you've got the trees, so you can't. They can't really do much there, and I don't want to lose Spa. You know, Vettel said.
Oh no,
he loves going to Spa.
Spa's a brilliant track.
He loves going to Spa. Exactly. I love watching Spa. Yeah. So let's hope we can keep it.
Back to the Formula 1 97.
Back to 97.
Back to the computer game. Sorry.
Oh, go on then.
The Spa was the first track I did all the laps on it. There's only 44 laps.
That was because it was quite long there back then, wasn't it?
It was about a minute 56. And I remember we were getting ready to go out, and I was like, just let me finish this. And I was driving a Jordan, and it conked out the lap before the end. I was gutted.
Oh dear! I'd love to see you when you got downstairs to go out or whatever.
Yeah. It took me like an hour and a half to get to lap 43, and then the damn thing conked out. I think it was quite close to the bus stop, or the old bus stop anyway.
You must feel like how Lando Norris must have felt then.
Yeah, just sort of, it just gave up.
It started the last lap and then it just conked out.
Yeah. Oh, I love Lando Norris.
Oh, he's
such a cool kid.
Do you know this? I'm gonna promote this now. Do you know he streams on Twitch?
Who?
Lando Norris.
Does he?
Yes.
Wow.
If you watch Sky, they actually had a clip of him and Max Verstappen, and he was wearing a Rossi hat on his camera, and he was talking about it. Verstappen was asking him about it. Yeah.
I am immediately, after we finish talking, I'm going to go and find Lando Norris on Twitch.
If you really want the link, I can send you the link.
All right. Yep.
Because he's not the only driver to.
Is he not?
No, he's not. He's not the only
Sorry, Steve. No more. That's it. I'm done.
You're out, Steve. Bye. You're out. You're out, Steve. Lando streamed at Canada, like him doing the walk. You know, the first walk around the track.
Yeah.
And he was going past some Mercedes cars. He was like, "Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this."
Wow.
It was just like he's just messing around. He wasn't like
he
didn't but he was just funny. He was just funny. And then he went for like a cycle walk with his trainer or something. And then they were having a joke and a laugh, and you could just see that he was just
he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, it's just like one of us.
Yeah.
Like Vettel, in essence, Vettel is just one of us. He's just a fan. He loves the sport. He loves driving the cars. He may not be in love with F1 as much this year.
Yeah.
But he's one of us, in essence. And I like that. I like the fact that they can like the sport or love the sport as much as we do. They don't all have to love it, because that would be boring.
Because at the end of the day, they're earning a living out of it. But yeah, if you can enjoy it while you're doing it, more's the better.
Okay, shall we move on now? I feel we've promoted Lando Norris now, and we need to tag him in the post now. Have you got a favourite track, or are you just a general fan of all the tracks? Or
Spa is probably my favourite.
See, Spa.
Spa, that short run down to the first corner.
Yeah.
Obviously, that tight right turn that caused carnage in 98?
98, yeah. It was a different corner back then, though, wasn't it? It was a different corner back then.
I think it was a bit wider back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good watching them go around that first corner, because you're like, you're not all gonna make it round.
The only thing I will bring up about that was Renault's chance to have some good points, and Hulkenberg decided he was going to go 4 miles around the first corner to avoid the carnage, and end up like second last or last. And then Ricciardo got taken out by Stroll. One person I've been praising all season, sticking up for him, saying he's better in the race, and the one time he repays me as a slight Renault fan there, he decides he's going to hit Ricciardo and give him floor damage. I mean,
the Pink Panther.
I just don't know what to do anymore, to be honest. I just don't know.
But yeah, no, obviously Spa's a great track.
Yeah.
Obviously Silverstone. Never
Have you
been, but
I was
no,
gonna say, have
never
you ever
been.
been? You've
Never
been.
been. I've not been. My sister and her husband have been to Abu Dhabi. They went to Abu Dhabi last year
Oh.
for his birthday, and that was, yeah. In fairness, I did say to him before they went, it's going to be all over by the time you get there, don't you? In terms of the championship, and he was like, "It don't matter."
Ferrari World. I'm just throwing it out there. Ferrari
Yeah,
World.
they did Ferrari World. Yeah,
There you go. You see. There you go.
it was extremely hot. They did enjoy it.
If you get bored of the race halfway through, just go to Ferrari World. It's on.
Yeah.
It's just there. You can probably do it in the same time as does the race is going on. You can just do that. Any tracks you don't like, or any tracks you'd like to see come back?
Ooh, well, they're going to. Any tracks I'd like to see come back? I'd like to see them go back to Indianapolis, not do the Circuit of Americas, because
Oh, I like the Circuit of Americas.
I like the Indianapolis one though.
They could do two.
They could do two in America. Why not?
We're not being greedy here.
Mexico's another good one.
Yeah, I like
We
Mexico
like
as well.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Any tracks I'd like to see come? So they haven't really got rid of many, have they, over the years?
Imola.
Oh yeah, Brazil.
Imola is famous because it's probably the only track you'll ever know or ever go to that has a house in the middle of the track. just random. Just go down. I think it's like
Damages fun facts, folks.
going down to the hairpin, and it's just, a hairpin or a left-hander, and it's just a house there. It's just
Insane.
Yeah, Imola. Obviously, the spa that we go to isn't the original spa.
No.
But you can drive some of the original track. I mean, I come up with all these facts. I mean, and some of the original track you used to be able to drive, but you can't drive now because they've done modifications.
Yeah.
Then there was another track in Belgium. I can't remember what it was called, but there you go. They've turned part of it into an industrial park now.
All right.
Then you've got what we know as the Red Bull Ring, which used to be the I'm going to butcher the name. Ostering or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
You've still got a bit of the loop you can walk around now. I know they're trying to incorporate some of that apparently. Then you've got Reims.
Right.
As you head into Reims, their main road, you've got all the pit boxes being refurbished.
All right. Okay. So they're gonna.
No, they're looking after it. They were gonna. Somebody was gonna knock them down, and a new mayor got in, and he said, "No, you're not having this. You're not knocking it down." And now it's. I don't know if it's like a charity of just restored them back to what they were. And obviously
the mayor has seen pound signs and just gone.
Well, no. The thing is, you can't miss it because you just drive along the main road into Reims and it's just there. Do you know what I mean?
Although I think if they add any more races to next year's calendar, people might just stop racing because
they're at 22 for next year and they want to get. They want 25, don't they?
4 back-to-back, I think it is. Something silly like that.
That's because they're keeping the 4-week break in there, aren't they?
Yeah. Which is fair. They are entitled to a holiday.
As I have friends who work in F1.
Oh,
I shouldn't really have said that.
No.
Let's get into trouble now. Yeah, I know people that work for teams in F1.
Nice.
There we go. That's what I'm going to say on that.
That's what you're going to say? Tell me afterwards.
Oh no! I would never do that. Would never. No, I'd never.
No. No, don't tell me afterwards. Wink, wink.
Yeah. So I do. Oh, and also I've been to every F1 team based in the UK.
All right. So you've done the factories.
Yes. I did it for charity.
Nice.
2 years ago, and I only knew about this because of a hero of ours, Ted Kravitz, was talking about it.
Oh, Ted. I'm glad you've mentioned Ted. I was.
You was going to bring up anyway, weren't you?
I was going to bring him up anyway.
Oh, he's a legend, isn't he? Oh.
He's an absolute legend, and Sky. Whether he's decided that he doesn't want to do all, because he's just had another child, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
So whether he's decided he doesn't want to do all the races or not, Sky have massively dropped the ball.
I should point out, I don't know if you knew about this, but there was a hashtag trending of where is Ted Kravitz, and a lot of Sky customers were ready to cancel their subscriptions.
I'll do you one better than that.
Go on, then.
I set up a Twitter account, Bring Back Ted K.
Have you still got the Twitter
I've still
account?
got it. I don't use it as much anymore because
you don't need to bring it back.
The people spoke, and to be fair, they listened. But to only bring it back with just Ted's note or the Notebook.
But he actually claimed it back, didn't he? In the last Notebook, he claimed it. Said, "Oh, it's back now."
Good. But no, it's obviously to take the trying to get up and watch a race at 6 o'clock in the morning is very difficult.
I don't do it. To be honest. I don't do it.
To have his notebook and to have the qualifying notebook before it, you haven't got to get up and watch the race. You can just listen to Ted for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he will tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And what happened? What the issues were? Yeah. Well, the new guy that took over. Obviously, every year Sky and other corporations say we're going to change our lineup. And of course, last year they said it and didn't really do anything with it. No. They brought in Rosberg, I think, for a few races.
Like 2 races a year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Just 2 races a year is enough for me, to be honest, with Rosberg in there. But get him in there,
You're not a fan of Nico Rosberg?
I was a fan of Nico Rosberg. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Nico Rosberg. I just think that he's turned into Villeneuve with his comments.
Pompous.
If you're not in, just I suppose as a journalist, I'm doing that in inverted commas, you can't see this. As a journalist, he has to do that. He has to sort of make stories out of things,
be confrontational.
And I know it took a lot. A friend of mine who I used to work with, he was a big Lewis fan. He said that what Rosberg had to do to beat him, like he would, like a week before the race or 2 weeks before the race, he would get onto the time zone of that, country that it was in, so that he was, his body was tuned or, in time with everything, and obviously working hard and running hard, doing all this stuff. And, it took a big effort for him to win the trial.
Yeah.
He should have just stayed quiet in the background.
Just stay quiet. You've got a business on the side, I assume, of something that you do, or you're just living off the money you got from Formula One. Just stay quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can live off the money, and Mercedes might say, "Can you do this or that for us?" And
be an ambassador. Yeah. Go around the world, telling everyone how good Mercedes are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. The problem with the Sky coverage, there are too many of them now.
Well, this is the thing, because you mentioned, was it Scott Young?
Scott Young is he's the guy in charge.
He said, "Oh, I want to make a change," and he wasn't exactly lying when he said he wanted to make a change, was he? When he
No. Taking away our beloved Ted Kravitz.
I think. Well, he brings in Jenson Button. I like that idea. I think that's a great idea.
Because Jenson is still relevant to the conversation in terms of he was in a Formula One car 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When he retired.
So I think that's a great idea.
And is a charismatic bloke. That's one thing that they lack severely, is someone with a bit of charisma.
Yeah. I don't dislike the team as it is. Do you know what I mean?
No, you've got Johnny Herbert, who's he's the comedy sideshow, but then he does have a decent bit of knowledge about him.
Yeah.
I don't like Damon Hill. He doesn't.
I can't believe you just said that, mate. You sit here and you say you like the British drivers, and he's just that.
But I don't like him in terms of, it's just very monotonal with Damon when he's speaking. There's no excitement in his voice.
He needs a voice box where he can just change his voice.
Yeah.
Just from one race to another, just change it randomly.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on.
No, that's it.
I was going to say I quite like I suppose I'm used to it. I didn't really watch it on Channel 4, but I quite liked it. I'm quite happy with Martin and the fan of God, what's his name? Crofty. I quite like that because
I like the two of them together. They remind me a little bit of Murray and Martin. How that was. They bounce off one another. Yeah. If one says something funny, obviously the other one will tend to laugh at it.
Yeah,
The only thing that annoys me sometimes with Crofty is he gets things wrong and he doesn't correct himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he will just say something, and you'll go, Crofty, that's not even the man in the car that you're talking about.
We have to tweet him to say. I did tweet him actually. I should say that he did read out one of my tweets once. Actually.
You didn't ask Crofty, did you?
No, he wasn't an Ask Crofty.
Just a general
thing on a practice session, and I must have had. I think I had the day off. It was a Friday practice session, and they were talking about tyres, about naming the the purple tyre that they were going to bring out. Yeah. Must have been last year or the year before.
So when you had the tyre compounds that no one understood.
Yeah, so they had all these different brands, and you can have whichever ones you wanted. In essence, you could bring 3 or 4 different, and then they were saying about the names, and he said that we should name it Dave. To be honest, and I agreed with him. And he read it out live on air, and he read it out. So that's another claim to fame for me there.
There you go.
But yeah, so we've slightly deviated off Sky.
You started talking about Ted, and I was saying.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, I think that's great. We should say we love Ted. We do. Ted, if you're listening, just drop me a DM. I think we all would love a conversation. You know, me and you doing a conversation, Ted. I'm just throwing it out there, mate.
Nice.
If you're in London, I can get down to London. It's not a problem. We can then video record it. I think people would love that.
I think people would love it too. That man, he could talk for hours. Why they give him 25 minutes to go through everything?
He did a thing on Senna as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Which I recorded. I haven't watched yet.
But we were talking about Sauber earlier on, or Alfa Romeo, sorry, as we call him now. And you see Peter Sauber the other week on the Notebook. Yes. It was like, it's Peter Sauber. Oh. We haven't seen Peter Sauber since '99. The man is just a myth now. He's alive.
It's just the way that he said something to Peter Sauber. Peter Sauber come up to him and start talking to him as if he's a celebrity, as if Ted is a celebrity.
Oh no,
he is.
Ted is just a fanboy. He's honestly anybody he bumps into in that pit lane, or even in the pit lane or in the
paddock
at the back. That's it. He just stands there like an excited child. Waiting to talk to it. It's so good to watch, and yeah.
You can tell he loves the sport.
Oh God, yeah. He loves motorsport. He loves planes. Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's done the W Series as well, hasn't he, this year? He's done the W
women's,
Series. Women's. What do you make of that? Have you watched any of it?
I haven't seen any of it. No.
I haven't watched any of it either, to be honest. Not because I don't want to watch it, just because I don't know when it's been on, to be honest.
No, it's not. Really... It's not advertised as to be on a channel of any description or anything like that.
I think it's on Channel 4.
All right.
I'm just going to put it on there. Channel 4. I'll pick up my feed later on. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
No, I think that for me that it kind of okay. That's great. You've done something for the women's, but what is the end goal? Because all you're going to do is if they win it, they get £1 million or whatever.
Right.
There's no guarantee for them to get a seat in F1.
No.
If they were good enough, then just put them in an F1 seat.
And I think it's like the old football adage: if you're old enough, you're good enough. It's the same with the women with Formula One. If you're good enough, you'll have a drive.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple that were quite close to being in a seat, wasn't it? A few years ago.
Susie Wolf.
Yeah, Toto's wife.
And there was one that died, wasn't there? There was one that died at that testing accident.
That was the other girl, I think. Valletta, something like that, surname.
Oh dear.
Anyway, they were, it will eventually happen. I think whilst it's still a very male-dominated sport, obviously there's only really Claire Williams that you could say, I know her. She's a team boss of an F1 team. Yeah. There's no real players that are in the mix that are women.
Yeah.
And that goes back to Bernie's era in terms of how Bernie used to run the sport.
As much as people aren't happy with Bernie, he carried that sport through the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And
he took it through its darkest period in terms of Senna dying, Ratzenberg.
People forget about Ratzenberger. He died on the same weekend as Senna, and
He died in qualifying. Yeah.
and people seem to, because of what happened with Senna, people forget about that, and we shouldn't forget. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter who they are, we shouldn't forget them.
No, and obviously that was a dark period for Formula One. Losing Senna set them back 10 years in terms of the popularity, and obviously
they needed another star to come through.
Yeah, and there wasn't anybody that could do that at that time.
It was just sort of average drivers. I mean, I'm not saying they're average. When I say average drivers, I'm not dissing them and saying they're just average drivers.
No, but then Senna was above.
Yeah.
What they were.
In F1, like wrestling, you have your A class or your A card.
Yeah.
Your top dollar things.
John Cena's of this world. Yeah.
Yeah. So your Vettels, your Hamiltons.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen.
That as soon as he comes out in front of an audience, they're going to go crazy for him.
Yeah.
And he's going to sell you loads of merchandise.
Yeah, and then you've got your midfield card, which is just everybody else. Not when I say everybody else, it's a bit disrespectful, but it's all dependent on the car they've got.
Yeah.
So you've got your Gasly's, who I think if he recovers from this, demotion, and then his best friend dying on the weekend that he comes back to the sport, demoted, and was in the paddock when it happened. He was at the circuit, so to speak, when it happened. If he can come back and get a few good results together, then who's to say that nobody, a team near the front might not pick him up? Or
he's only what, 22? Is he, Gasly?
23, because it would have been Hubert's birthday on Sunday, the 22nd, which is going to be interesting because I want to know. I'm hoping they'll do another minute silence in his honor.
Yeah.
And maybe play what I said in the last podcast. I was wrong because I said it was the F2 drivers. It wasn't. In the F3 feature race, the F3 drivers asked for the French national anthem to be played in his honor. So they played, obviously, I think it was like the Japanese national anthem because it was a Japanese driver that won. Yeah. And then they stood off the podium, and then the announcer said, "Oh, we're going to play the French national anthem now in Hubert's memory." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Korea's still not. He's in intensive care. And then they played, and they just and for 20, I don't know, they're going to be sort of 20 up to 23, and for them to come out and go, "Can you play the national, the French national anthem, please?" It shows a bit of maturity, and it shows that even though yes, there are rivals. I'm using inverted commas. You can't see this. Rivals on the track. Yeah. They can all be friends as well, and they've all got each other's back.
They're like a little club, aren't they? They're the only people that do that for a living. Yeah. So they do build up that camaraderie between one another. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of fans. They might not know who they are. I mean, if you don't know who Hubert was, then go onto YouTube and just try not to put Hubert crashing, because then you know.
You will see it.
You will see it, and I would again don't. It's not. I accidentally because it was all on because I didn't watch it live, and I have to say that whoever broadcast it was very good, because they saw that the crash was bad, and then they panned away from it, and then they didn't show anything of afterwards. They didn't go back there. They didn't do nothing.
They didn't do what they did to Jules Bianchi and sort of show him reversing into the, or not reversing, flying into the lead. And,
no, they censored that out.
They tried to.
People, if you look at it now, it's censored out. You can't see it, but people have got clips of it, and it's not. You don't.
To be honest, I still remember. I can.
You don't
talking about it now. I can still see that car careering into the forklift.
You just don't want to see it, though. No. People don't. The only people that need to see that is the people investigating it for the FIA.
Yeah.
And in this case, the Belgian police, because the Belgian police, what they do is, if there's a death on the road, they treat it as manslaughter. They're not saying they're going to bring the charges.
No,
that's just
how they.
So what they did do was impound Elise's car after what happened, and obviously they had to get some experts in, and I assume the FIA would do the same, get some experts in as well to see what happened. So, if you want to see, go to I think Hubert overtakes or whatever.
To be honest, I up until that weekend, F2 is not something I watch. F1's enough to sort of It's always on after the. Is it always on before or after?
It's on
Sky.
it's the feature race is on after the qualifying,
Right.
and then the sprint race on the Sundays before the F1.
Right. Okay. So I don't think they show that, do they? Live the sprint race.
Yes, they yeah they
Oh,
do.
they
Yeah,
do.
yeah, and on the sprint race on the Sunday, I should
Yeah.
mention as well on the sprint race, Jack Catkin won it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Who is a Renault driver, and he went up to the podium with a French flag round him
Nice.
in Hubert's honour.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had a picture of Hubert on it. I don't know. It may have done. I've only seen one picture of it, and I couldn't
Because they're
tell.
talking about changing qualifying next year, aren't they, or something? I see it on a website that they wanted to change to try and bring it in line with F2 in terms of a sprint start thing for qualifying.
Would you like me to bring some more information about that from what I know?
Well,
I sound like somebody that's in the know. Okay, so
Gamagepedia.
So Ross Brawn was interviewed about something, and I want to say Belgium, but it may not have been Belgium. It may have been in between Belgium and Monza, or it might have been Monza. Anyway, and he said that from 2021 they're looking at the qualifying format, and next year gives them the chance to change it.
Right.
So they will try different things at different races. I would guess ready for 2021.
Right. Not the elimination thing. Please don't go back to that.
I quite like what we've got now, to be honest.
It is a good format. It's better than them just going round for an hour, coming out as they please.
Yeah.
I think they want more cars on the track.
Yeah.
But the only way to do that is to give them more tyres.
And they don't want to do that because it's too expensive.
Yeah. It's the same with the engines. The engine thing is farcical.
They need four. It's like on the engine front. It's like what Horner said. You need four. You're gonna need. If you're gonna put 22 races on the calendar, give us 5 engines.
Yeah. You can't. I think it's 3 at the moment, isn't it? The engine limit.
Yes.
So you cannot do 21 races on 3 engines. Physically impossible.
No, and we know that
because if one goes bang, first race of the season, you're down to 2 engines for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You can't repair that engine. As far as I'm aware, you can't repair it and reuse it.
No.
You have to take a fresh one.
And when you do take a fresh one, you'll get a
penalty.
Which it's not the driver's fault. I mean, admittedly, he's driving the car, but it is the team's fault, and it's probably the only way they could do it unless they took points off teams.
Yeah.
Then it just gets messy. Then, do you know what I mean? Because you'll end up with teams.
It got to a point 2 or 3 years ago that when they were reading out the grid at the start of the race, Fernando Alonso, he has a 40 place grid penalty. If he were to give, as I think David Croft did say this at the time, if he were to give him that 40 place penalty, he would start at the last corner or something silly like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Martin Brundle hates it, this penalty malarkey.
But look, that start has helped Honda though, no end. They were 3 years behind when they started, and now look at them.
Yeah.
They've that run with McLaren.
Ill-fated run.
Yeah. That's somebody that one person decided wasn't good enough, so he decided he was going to destroy it on his own in Fernando Alonso. Do you know what I mean? Any chance he had, a bit like Verstappen whinging about the Renault engines. So every time he could, it's like, but it's actually Red Bull's fault.
You're driving,
It's Red Bull's fault because you've packed it incorrectly, and you've not given it enough breathing space or whatever. Yeah. And it's like when it got to Monza, and it's like Renault brought out a lighter, like I can't remember what it was, a lighter part, and they gave it to Red Bull. Here you go, then you can use it, and they didn't use it, and then one of their cars retired. And what's the first thing that Horner
blamed it on the engine?
Yeah. Horner Marco. The first thing they do, blame Renault. I actually feel sorry for Cyril Bibble because he had those two. One of them had to do was say something in the press before a race weekend, he would then defend the team's honour, and then the other one just gang up on him.
Yeah.
It was a bit unfair, but
In fairness, did you watch that F1 thing on Netflix?
I haven't. I do want to watch it, and it's really good.
Fascinating to see the inner. I mean, they're doing a second series of it, but to see how their relationship deteriorated here, Cyril Beatball and Christian Horner.
It was childish, wasn't it? It was just childish.
It was, but it was funny at the same time because obviously Christian Horner would say something, and Cyril, being a Frenchman and being Cyril, would just go, "Nope, don't know what you're talking about." In my best French impression.
Well, if you are offended by this accent, then all I can say is
find me on Twitter.
We're not sorry, and we'll bring you more of these accents throughout the year. To be honest, I think I said this. I do feel sorry for Cyril and that at point because they could just gang up on him. And what people forget is from sort of Singapore onwards, they took a C-spec engine, which Renault knew wasn't reliable. But I mean, Red Bull have third place in the championship, also not really. So they could take the risk, and then it just break down. And the first thing that Christian always say, "Oh, it's the engine's fault."
Yeah, even though they knew the engine wasn't up to spec. Yeah, but because it had more power.
Yeah, we're going to test it, and I mean,
if it blows up, it blows up.
Yeah.
That should have been their reaction, but I think obviously they got into partnership with Aston Martin, didn't they, a few years ago?
Yeah.
I think they're praying that Aston Martin build them an engine eventually.
I have heard a rumour that Porsche have built an engine ready for 2021.
So they're going to enter.
Well,
potentially come back as a. Because have they ever been in it, Porsche? I'm sure they have at some point.
Would you like the Gamagepedia to rack his brain now?
You don't have to. We could just say yes, they have been in it before, with a caveat of perhaps they haven't, but I would love to see them in it.
I don't think they have. I'm just gonna be unknowledgeable and go, I don't think they have.
No, okay. But to see them be a manufacturer of a team.
Here you go. Privateers continue to enter the outdated Porsche 718 in F1 until 1964. Having been very successful with turbocharged cars in the 1970s, Porsche returned to Formula 1 in 1983 after nearly 2 decades away. Supplying water-cooled V6 turbo engines as tag units for the McLaren team.
Thank you. They were an engine supplier.
Thank you, Wikipedia, for that.
Nice.
Because you've saved my skin. To have
them, obviously, to have Mercedes, to have Ferrari, to have Renault, to have Porsche in the same championship will be, I know obviously they have their own Super Cup and things like that, but.
And to think that all those engines next year could be 1,000 brake horsepower, and they'd all be built different ways. If you think about it, because.
Shake it up again. I think someone else. Obviously, this is the era of Mercedes. We had the era of Red Bull. I'm not quite sure who's going to come to the fore when it all changes.
I can tell you, it's going to be Renault. I'm just going to throw it there. As a Renault fan, I can say that. No, it's not. It's not. If the Renault management are listening, I've been honing my skills as a motorsport manager, and I just want to say, my first race as Renault boss, I got a 1-2. Just going to throw it out there.
Nice.
More importantly, as Haas boss, I've Grosjean's got 3 wins back to back this season already.
And he hasn't crashed the car.
I didn't say that, did I? I didn't say that. I have to say it was a bit realistic with the fact that we were Who was in?
Did
Was
did
he
he
in?
and K did
No,
he and K-Mag even
it,
touch wheels at any point?
in the first race, and it was raining. They both spun like multiple times, lost
Right.
the lead to Lewis Hamilton, and then they touched. I don't mean in that way either. F1 fans will know what I mean.
Yeah.
They touched. They touched, and then Magnussen finished second, and Grosjean finished third, and then Grosjean then won 3 races back to back.
I genuinely don't know what's going to happen with Haas in terms of their driver lineup.
Can I guess? You can
Have a
guess
guess.
as
Have a
well.
guess. Go on, have a
I
guess.
I said this. I said this on the last podcast. Okay. I don't like Magnussen, so I think he's gone. Okay.
Right.
Even though he's on the contract.
Yeah.
And as much as I prefer Grosjean to Magnussen, Grosjean needs James Allison to design him a car that's good on his tyres because that'll get the best out of him. So either Grosjean goes to Mercedes, which isn't going to happen, or Haas get in James Allison, and that's not going to happen.
No.
So I think at the Belgian Grand Prix, what's his face? Gunther Steiner said it's between Hulkenberg, Grosjean, and Ocon for that seat, and then within an hour, Renault announced that they've got Ocon on over 2 years.
Right.
So now
so Hulkenberg's going to Haas, basically.
So it's between Hulkenberg and Grosjean, and I would think that they would put Hulkenberg. And people say they beat Hulkenberg down because he's not had a podium yet, but he's taken that Renault team from 9th to 4th in 3 seasons. You know, and he saw off.
He's never had the car underneath him to get a podium.
No, and when he did at Germany, he fucked it up himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hulkenberg, I'm a fan. Don't hate me.
But the interest, obviously, you say about Hulkenberg going to Haas. Obviously, Hulkenberg and Magnussen don't like one another.
No, but
They
Magnussen.
despise. To be fair, they despise one another. It's not that they dislike. They despise one another.
Magnussen has said, I don't have to like him, I'd have to get on with him, but I think he would be a really good teammate and he's a good driver, right? But if you're hiring Hulkenberg as Haas, you're going to make him your number one and you're going to give him a 3-year deal and you're going to say to him, right, you lead this team.
Yeah. You're going to put Magnussen's nose out of joint straight away.
Well, yeah, because for me, if I had a choice, I'd go for Hulkenberg.
Yeah. Oh, for a solid racing driver, yeah.
You know, if you look at this
they're
season,
going to finish what, 6th in the constructors this year, maybe 5th or 6th. Because they've had a shocker.
So you got McLaren 4th, Renault 5th, Toro Rosso 6th,
so even
7th. No, because are they? No,
if it wasn't for the Williams holding everybody up, they might even be that far down.
They could be because so you've got Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got McLaren, Renault, Toro Rosso, Alpha. So who am I missing? Toro Rosso.
Yeah. Alpha, Toro Rosso,
I think
Williams, and then Haas.
Yeah, I don't think Haas is last, but I think Haas are 9th in the.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Williams, they would be last.
Because
they've had When you think how well they did last year.
Okay, I can tell you because I'm good. Haas this season. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
How many points do you think they've got?
Single figures.
No, they've got more than single figures.
Oh, they've got more than single figures. So 20.
Just a little bit more.
22.
A little bit more, mate.
24.
A little bit more.
26.
Correct.
Hooray!
What
do I win?
I haven't got anything to give them. They are 8 points off Alfa Romeo in 8th. And you've noticed.
And they're lucky to be that.
Have you noticed that how Ferrari is second and the other 2 Ferrari engines who have struggled this year are 8th and 9th?
Because they don't have this proper engine.
No, they do get the engine. They got the engine.
All right.
They got the better spec before Ferrari did. Ferrari gave them the.
I suppose they wanted to test it to make sure it worked.
Yeah. But it's just because their car. For Haas, I like what Haas did because it's always nice to not have teams go bust in F1, so it's always nice. But I like what they did. They buy the parts in, and I think the team this year is divided with Grosjean and Magnussen there.
Yeah.
So I think get rid of them both, have a fresh start, this is what their 4th season in F1. You've got to
Yeah.
be serious about this now and work together as a team. Get united. Get Hulkenberg in, because you know what? I would have kept him at Renault, but
Renault didn't want to keep that.
I think Renault wanted a change. I think that Stuart Biddle said he wanted a reset, which is fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Obviously, he's been there a long time, hasn't he, Hulkenberg? So
3 years, yeah. So I think
not that long then.
no. So Hulkenberg to Haas, and what about Pascal Wehrlein?
Good old Pascal. In fairness, he's a good driver.
Do you know where he is now?
Formula E. Is he doing that?
He may have been. I don't know if he's doing it right now. He is signed to an F1 team.
What's he doing?
I've just told you he's signed to an F1 team.
Oh, he's signed to an F1 team?
Yeah.
Which one?
Ferrari.
Oh.
I like that. Oh. Yeah, he's
As a Tottenham fan, red is not my favourite colour, I should say that. So any other team that has got red as their main colour, you instantly get put down. You're a point down. Sorry. Not that I don't like Ferrari, it's just, yeah.
I can't believe that, mate. I can't believe you just see.
If they painted their car blue, they'd be fine.
No, they wouldn't be fine for me if they painted it blue, to be honest, because as a Southampton fan, Portsmouth are playing blue. So do you know what I mean?
Playing them next week, aren't you?
I want to say Tuesday. Yeah, I want to say it's Tuesday night.
Yes,
Tuesday
night. It's on TV.
It is.
I shall be watching.
I would like to say at this point that I've got a funny feeling that
Southampton are going to beat you.
No, I'm going to say this now. The Hampshire Police, if that's what they are, aren't going to do the bubble this year because they don't want all the police force in one city, because they've got the rest of the county then potentially nobody there to protect it. So if the Portsmouth and Southampton fans or idiots want to have a fight, they will have a fight.
Fair enough.
I'm just pre-warning it now. Just saying it now because I can see the things on Wednesday morning when it goes. There was fights outside Portsmouth Stadium.
And then there's a picture of you right in the middle of it all.
I can't believe you think that about me.
No. I'm joking.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No.
No, I don't.
No, fair enough.
But there's a team.
Is it expensive to go watch football?
But there's a team near me that play in I want to call it the conference. It's not going to known as the conference now.
National League.
The National League, yeah, and it's only 15 quid for a home ticket.
What team is that? Eastleigh?
It is Eastleigh, yes.
Eastleigh,
yeah. 15 quid for just to go. Do you know what I mean? And then the beers are cheap. The food,
I feel like they're doing all right so far, I think, aren't they?
No, they compared to last year, they've started poorly.
Dear.
Yeah, they've started poorly.
I do watch the National. People find this really strange about me. I prefer watching the Championship and I prefer watching the National League more than I do the Premier League. Because I watch the Premier League week in, week out. It's always nice to just sort of watch a game of football and not have to worry about what happens to it.
Yeah, it's good. Like I say, it's cheap as well to watch as well. It's not it's not expensive, and it's a 10-minute drive for me to get there and watch it anyway, which isn't too bad because if a few of us are going, then we're all in one car or a couple of cars.
Yeah.
So it's people going past me to pick so they're willing to pick me up. So it's a day out in it, or a few hours out to be honest. So it's not too bad. Do you watch football near you?
I do.
Or?
I watch a lot of football.
A lot.
I make YouTube videos about it. I sit and watch it. Yeah. I'm actually, while we're talking, I've got Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid on the telly. Sound off, obviously.
It was 1-0 when it's Paris Saint-Germain, wasn't it?
2-0 now. Real Madrid had a goal. Real Madrid had a goal ruled out thanks to VAR.
Yeah.
And they're just on the attack now.
There you go.
But
we've gone way off topic.
Sorry.
I'm hoping that when Tracker edits this, he keeps this in, to be honest. But I can't see him doing that. I can't see him doing that, to be honest.
Oops.
But what I will do is I'll send you once it's finished. I'll send you the copy tomorrow, and you can edit. Yeah, you can edit yourself if you want to do that.
Thank you very much.
we'll obviously use it at some point on we'll put it on YouTube. We may
Yeah.
even do it on Twitch at some point as well. So yeah. And we should also point out, apparently according to Ross Brawn, there's teams queuing up to join F1.
In fairness, 20 cars is not enough. We need, because we had 22 at one stage, didn't we, a few years ago with Caterham and
Yeah.
what's the one that went bust?
Manor.
That's it.
And
There was another one.
yeah, there's Manor, Caterham, and HRT.
HRT, there you go.
Oh, yes.
I was going to say Minardi, but I was like, no, that's two. No, that was years ago.
Minardi's thingy now, isn't it? Minardi was bought out by Jaguar, if I remember correctly, which is now owned by Red Bull Racing.
Oh wow, okay.
I think I could be wrong, and
They do stay in. You do find they stay in little circles of people, the Formula One teams. But yeah, I'd love to see more teams on the track, because yeah, 20s. Yeah, in fact, they don't lose that many anymore from races. You find, or I find, retirements are few and far between now.
Unless it's a big crash.
Unless there's a massive crash, yeah. But you don't see. I mean, there was a few last race, but overall throughout the season, I think it's been quite low, which is good because obviously reliability is improved. Obviously, the engines are limited now, so they have to make sure that they work properly. So,
you know, I just said about Minardi.
Yes.
I was close, but not close enough. Okay, so Minardi was brought out in 2002 to save the team from folding. Minardi was sold to Paul Stoddart, who ran the team for 5 years before sent on to Red Bull, who renamed it Toro Rosso.
Oh wow! There you go. So Minardi live on
as Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso. Nice.
And here you go. Here's another fun fact. Thank you, Wikipedia, for this one. I'm not going to take the credit. From 2001, all of Minardi chassis are called PS, then a number. The PS being the initials of team owner Paul Stoddart. I don't know if Toro Rosso carried that on. Maybe someone should treat and ask them. You know, do you carry on the tradition of naming your chassis PS in order of Paul Stoddart?
And then they'll turn around and say no.
Which they will do. So yeah, hopefully 2020. On the team front, Ross Brawn said wait till 2021. Wait till we've got the regulations settled down.
I don't want to wait till 2021. I want to know now.
I think he wants the regulations changed and then settled in, so it would be like 2022, 2023.
Yeah,
and then get him in. Yeah, potentially.
In fairness, it's great to have him back in the sport.
Ross Brawn.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
You're going to disagree with me.
No, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Oh, good.
He owns a house near me.
Does he? Oh wow.
Yeah. There you go. There's another name drop. I've got to stop doing this. You know, so I've got that. So I've got Paul. Oh God, Paul. Ross Brawn lives near me.
Yeah.
What's his face? JD Sector owns a farm in Dorset.
Right.
It's true. Honestly, if you have a look
his
at it.
Face?
I couldn't think of his name first, and he was at Monza, wasn't he? He was at Monza as well.
He was driving his car.
I know. Should know. Yeah, he owns a farm in Dorset. Murray Walker lives about 45 minutes away from me.
Nice.
And I have spoke to him on the phone once, work related. And if Murray, I would love to interview Murray Walker, but it's probably not going to happen. But I'd love to.
No, but yeah.
I think that's probably about it. To be honest, I think that's probably about it. Then if you go into Oxfordshire, then you would get. There's a couple of teams based in Oxfordshire. So you've got Williams.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Caterham Centre, Lethal Technical Centre, which is in a right state. Mike Gascoigne owns a business in Oxfordshire.
Blimey.
There you go. Just giving you all this useless information. Do with it what you like.
Well, no, I want to go and meet Ross Brawn now. Seems you're close personal friends.
I'm not close personal friends. he just owns a house near me that he's having renovated.
Right. Do you know exactly?
I
know exactly where it is, don't you?
The only reason I know it's renovated is because one of my friends delivered to his house, and he wasn't there, so they delivered it to the builders that were there.
Right.
There
And
you go.
you're going to take his job for the day and hope that Ross Brawn is in.
No, he lives in Henley on Thames. I think he lives out. I think he lives out that way.
Careful, Ross.
Ross, if you're listening, I asked for an interview and you never got back. Well, I say you didn't get back to me. Your
PA did.
No, your management team or
hang on.
Not management team, but you know those you can like hire people, can't you, for an hour for like a talk.
People per hour.
Yeah, but they can do motivational talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I asked them if I could, have an interview with him, and they never got back to me.
Oh, shame on them.
I mean, the people from Mark Webber did. I didn't realise he was a busy man, but obviously he's still a busy man.
He's a busy man. He's a busy man doing Channel 4 coverage.
And does he not still drive for Porsche as well?
He might still drive as well.
Yeah. And now apparently he is he's running a team for Red Bull in the lower leagues. In GP I think is it GP3 or the one below that? So I think he's now a team principal as well.
Nice.
Possibly. So he's a busy man.
Sounds like it.
Too busy for me, just I don't know what to say, to be honest.
Disgusting, really, isn't it?
One day I'll get to interview him.
One day. Yeah.
So before we go, is there anything you want to plug? Do you want to tell people what you stream on Twitch? Do you want to tell people what you stream? Your Twitch name?
This is my moment. Right.
Yeah.
So I make YouTube videos. If you look for FMZ gaming on YouTube, you will find me. So I make Football Manager videos 90% of the time, but I have started moving to making other content, retro games. I've managed to get an emulator working on my PC, so I'm playing arcade games at the moment. So
Ooh.
WrestleFest is one that I've done recently. That will be out. When will this go out live? Whenever Tracker can turn it round, obviously. But we're a couple of weeks away from it going out. So,
Tracker doesn't know we're doing this interview yet. So
okay.
When I drop this file to him, tomorrow, he's got some work to do. Sorry, Tracker.
Sorry, Tracker.
No, actually, I should say I'm not sorry, Tracker. As anybody watches the podcast, we like to have a bit of banter with Tracker. So I'm not sorry, Tracker. It's about time he did some work.
So, in the fullness of time, when this is released, WrestleFest will land on the channel. I did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one the other day, which I think was brilliant, mainly because I said the name wrong in a previous video, so I had to re-record it. And there's nothing worse than having to re-record something. So the anger that comes across in the frustration of getting it wrong the first time, I think it makes it funny a second time.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do some more arcade games. I do stream on Twitch a little bit from time to time when time allows. So if Spurs have not got a midweek game, so I was going to stream tonight, but obviously we were doing this, and obviously we had Olympiacos until like 8 o'clock, so that was that out of the window.
and Olympiacos were they the better team?
No.
From what I heard, up to the goal, they were.
They were on top of us to begin with.
Excuse me, on top. We can't say things like that on here. Top.
Sorry.
People might get the wrong opinion.
They were. How else to say it? They weren't dominating the game, but they were certainly better than we were for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we scored.
Yeah.
Through a penalty that was rightly given.
Yeah.
VAR checked it. It was fine. Lucas Moura slammed in the second one. All was fine until 2 minutes before half time, when everybody goes to sleep at the back.
Yeah.
And they equalised just before half time, just like we did to the Arsenal the other week. They got one back just before half time.
Yeah, and then I sit down.
And then second half, we didn't turn up at all. Christian Eriksen was terrible.
That's because he wants to leave, doesn't he?
He does want to leave. And as I've said to many people, if he wants to leave, let him go. But don't let him go now. Let him go next summer for nothing.
Yeah.
There's no
He's been
point.
he's been a good servant to you, though.
He has,
people should forget that.
out of the Gareth Bale money that we're still, him and Lamella are the only two that are left out of the 7 that we bought with all that money.
That says a lot about them too, doesn't it?
Well, Lamella's done well so far this season. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong. Provided he doesn't get injured, I think he will have a good season this year, Lamella.
I hope
But
so.
in terms of what we're going to do this year, I will take the top 4 now. I'm not worried about finishing in any of the positions other than finishing the top 4. That should be our priority every year.
Yeah.
If we can win something, fantastic. But it's all about getting back in the Champions League now for us. We missed our opportunity to win the title when Leicester won it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see Leicester win it, though.
It was nice to see Leicester winning it.
It was nice to see a team that isn't the top 6 win.
And for those people that say we bottled the league that year, we were 10 points behind them at Christmas.
Yeah.
The closest we got to them was a point behind.
Yeah.
So all the other clubs that were in front of us at that point, because we were about 5th before Christmas, so we took over everybody else.
Yeah.
We were their closest challenger up until the last day of the season when Arsenal won and we didn't. And then they finished 2nd, we finished 3rd.
Yeah. So there we go. So apart from, so you do when you say you do Football Manager streams, do you manage a random team, or is it just showing people how to do the basics?
I do Let's Plays, which some people say they are dying on YouTube. I'm trying to keep them alive. I've got some good ideas for FM20, which is out in November at some point. So this year we did a Tottenham save at the first half of the year because a personal reason I lost my dad last year, and I thought I've got to do something to do with that.
Yeah.
So that was very much getting them as the aim of the game with Football Manager is to get them as far as you can get them, the club. And we won the Champions League. I was like, fine, done. So I did a journeyman for the first time ever, and it was so much fun. So we started off at Bromby, and we went to, I forget where we went to next. Real Betis, Leicester, Juventus, Real Madrid is where we finished.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a nice little mix of, I won't spoil the ending, but it is...
It's all on YouTube. Go and watch.
It'll be all on YouTube eventually. It's all been recorded. I'm having a little bit of a break before FM20 comes out because I worked it out. The last time I'd had a break from making content on Football Manager was at the end of 2018's game. So nearly a year and a half ago. I was like, okay, we need to have a couple of weeks off.
Have you pre-ordered 2020 yet?
No, not yet.
Are you going to pre-order it? Because I can get it.
I'm hoping someone's going to get me a copy. I know somebody who knows somebody.
But if you're stuck,
I'm stuck
to me.
Okay.
I know somebody who gets a discount, and instead of it being 35 quid on Steam, it's 29 quid. Okay. Just
nice. Also, we have a mutual friend who works for a company that is quite closely related to Sports Interactive. I won't name the company, but we can probably guess who it is. And
should we give them a clue?
You can give a clue if you like.
No, you can give them a clue. That's what I was thinking. We won't give them a clue, though. We won't give them a clue. We'll just, Sorry. Sorry, we're just teasing you now.
Yeah, we'll just So I will get it one way or another. The beta's not going to be out for another month. 18th of September today. So yeah, another month for the beta. And the game's going to be out in early November.
They haven't said they haven't said anything about new releases yet, have they? So
they haven't said a thing about it. They released something today showing Arsenal, and that they've got an official partnership with Arsenal this year, so you can get all the badges, all the faces, and things like that for Arsenal. They mentioned an eco-friendly thing that they're making the packaging out of something else.
Packaging, so it's all eco-friendly. I saw that.
Well, Miles tweeted. Someone asked him, "Is packaging really important? Doesn't everybody download the game?" I think he said 120,000 units last year were purchased for FM19. Yeah. So that's a lot of plastic. Plastic is important. We need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
The right way.
using it. Yes, to get rid of it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah. And get rid of it permanently.
Yes.
If we can.
If we can.
Yeah.
Saving the planet.
Yeah. Anything else from you? Anything else from you before we go? Because this has gone off.
I think I've rambled far too much already, haven't I?
No, it's always the same thing, though, isn't it? F1 fans sort of stay quiet, don't say anything, and then somebody else says something about F1. Oh, you're an F1 fan, are you? 2 hours later, you're still talking about it. It's perfect. It's the perfect thing, though, isn't it? Do you mean? You go, oh, you know what I mean? If somebody says something about F1, oh, did you see that on the weekend? You didn't even realise they're an F1 fan. 2 hours later, you just sat there talking to him.
You didn't realise I was an F1 fan until I mentioned Ted in a stream a couple of weeks ago, did you?
That was good. Yeah, that's because if my memory serves me right, was that to do with a certain X-rated? Oh God. A Z-list celebrity that we both watch on Twitch. Yes. And he got confused with my new Twitter name. Yes. Not Twitter name, sorry, Twitch name.
Twitch name.
And
yeah.
he thought that was to do with somebody else that was lurking.
That's it. And
accidentally then called that person out if they were lurking.
Yeah.
Which was quite funny.
And then all of a sudden, and here I am. Yeah.
Interview number 2 for me.
Nice.
There you go. Hey, see? Nice new number. I don't think, if I get to interview number 19, I don't think I'm going to call it interview number 19. I think in honour of Hubert, I can't call it number 19.
No.
And in fact, if I'd asked him for an interview, I bet I would have got one. Because he was that kind of chap. Because there's a video of on F1 YouTube page of them going around on the truck and they interview him. It's the last things you ever hear him say.
Oh wow!
And it's all you see is they go, "Oh, here's Hubert," and he turns around and he's just got a smile on his face. Every clip I've seen of that kid, he's smiling. Doesn't matter where he is, he was smiling.
He was only 20, wasn't he, as well?
22.
Oh, 22.
Yeah. 22, yeah. And he was his idol was Prost. He was working with Prost at Renault.
Right, yeah, because Renault, he's an advisor, isn't he?
Yeah,
Renault.
And he was a affiliate. So Hubert was affiliate last year, joined permanently this year, and they'd already on Friday at Belgium. Prost had told Hubert what the plan was for him next year. So he probably would have been in F2, but at a team near the front of the grid to sort of see what
to get him ready.
Yeah, get him ready. Can you now dominate a race? Do you know what I mean? Can you do what Vettel did when he was at Red Bull? Can you get pole and then just, lead from lap 1 to the end? Which I think he would have done. I think he would have done that, and he had the speed, and he had a Prost brain. Like he could. Do you know what I mean? He could analyze things, and him being with Prost, he would potentially could have been another world champion right there in the making.
Sadly, we won't ever find out.
Well, he was the last person to win the GP3 series before he got renamed to Formula 3.
Right.
And more importantly, he did get to win his own Grand Prix. He got to win France this year, and he won Monaco by 0.059 of a second.
Jesus
or
Christ!
3 seconds. Yeah, it was close. he was in a car that isn't a front runner. The team he was with Arden, and it's run by Gary Horner, and that's Christian Horner's dad. Now I think that this year they've got a partnership with a Mercedes thing, not the Mercedes F1 team, but something to do with Mercedes. I don't know if there's something to do with Racing Point. I think it was affiliated to Racing Point. Obviously, a lot of Red Bull drivers have come through Arden at some point. Yeah. And in his first race at Bahrain, with no radio, he finished P4. And when he finished P4, a lot of people in the F2 paddock were like, "Who is this guy then? Who is this kid?" They stood up and went, he could be the real deal.
Just shows you that life is too short.
Yeah, especially if you go onto his Instagram. I'm not saying you should go on his Instagram.
Yeah.
But I did go on his Instagram, and the last pictures that he put on Instagram were him on a boat. There's 4 pictures. There's a picture of him with his girlfriend, a picture of him, And he didn't have a six pack or anything. Do you know what I mean? Just
No.
and the two pictures of him on holiday, and then all you just see in the comments is just, do you know what I mean? It's just people just going rest in peace, champion, and all this that, and the other. And it's just like, it's taken this for people to sort of, do you know what I mean? For him, I'm hoping that he knew how
Popular he was.
yeah, how people felt of him. You know what I mean? Like they knew he was going to be potentially the next.
Next big thing, or
Well,
one of the next big thing. Yeah.
I think he would have. I think he would have. He would have won races in F1. He would have, if depending on, obviously we don't know what happened in 2021. He probably would have won a championship as well. But it would have been good to have him, Leclerc, Gasly, Ocon, and Verstappen, and they've all raced each other
At some point,
at some point in the lower juniors. It would have been good to see. And obviously, if you had George Russell into that, then yeah, I think
Lewis Hamilton, because Hamilton will still be driving till he's like
Hamilton
45.
Hamilton will be 55, and he'd have his Zimmer brain get into the track.
No. We should have said 44.
Yeah, we should. Yes,
we should have said 44. We missed it.
Do you know what? It was like when we did the Belgium podcast, right? And the tracker goes to us, give us a score out of 10, right? And three of us, so all of us, bar one person, all said like 8 out of 10, yeah.
Yeah.
And one person just went 19. Is there any one number it can be? It's 19. And I went, oh, you. Yes, it's perfect. It was perfect. Do you know what I mean? It was the perfect answer to say 19.
And you're just sad you didn't think of it.
No, I'm sad that he's lost his life.
Yeah, of course, yeah, of course.
In a freak accident that may not happen ever again.
Yeah.
And but what positives do we take from this? That FIA will now make that car be able to take a side-on impact. That'll happen now. You know, people blame the chassis people, but they make chassis for different categories and for the Haas team in F1. And more importantly, the chassis did its job. It hit the tyre wall, it broke. The rest of the chassis took the rest of the brunt. However, it wasn't designed to take what happened next without going into gory detail.
And unfortunately, it's only from accidents that we learn from things.
Yeah.
Going back to Senna. Obviously, they learned from that. So now, obviously we said earlier, when the tyre comes off the car, it doesn't come off the car. It stays on the things that attach it to the chassis.
Apart from Harry, what's his name? Harry Surtees.
All right, yeah.
Because he was 18 when he died, and he died at Well, he was basically there was a crash at Brands Hatch, and the wheel, is it the wheel lever or whatever it was to keep the wheel on, broke and it come off, and then that then hit him on the head. But
obviously, going back to the halo again, obviously the halo was only ever really thought of when Felipe Massa got hit in the head by the spring.
Yeah. If they'd have thought about it sooner and brought it in sooner and brought it to every category, then we would say things would be safer. But
then they always argue that it will never be safe, and it won't be.
No, it won't be. It will never be safe. You can't make it.
You can't make anything foolproof, as we said. Yeah, accidents happen, and it's sad because obviously, from what you've said and from what I've read, he was a very talented young man, and he's now never going to get to fulfill that potential that he potentially had.
Yeah. Here's the thing. His funeral was a week ago, I believe, or just over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and they held it in a cathedral south of Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all the F2 drivers turned up. All the F3 drivers turned up. All the Renault Sport Academy drivers turned up. Cyril Beetle and Alan Prost turned up. Bonotto was there. Ross Brawn, Chase Carey, Sean. I can't say his surname. You know the
Sean,
commercial director, Sean. What's his name? He was there. They were all there. All like the big, Bonotto didn't have to go. He's a Ferrari guy. He wasn't. No disrespect, but he wasn't a Ferrari driver.
He wasn't affiliated to him in any.
But the fact that he turned up, speaks volumes for him as a person.
Yeah.
And what they did was on the seats they had racing helmets on all the seats. Or some of the seats they had racing helmets. Outside they had a French flag with a picture of Hubert on it, and they put a screen outside, so like members of the public and obviously race fans were there, so they could pay their respects. And there's one clip, and I can't remember where I found it. It's on YouTube somewhere. They were getting the you see obviously his girlfriend and his family alive, and you see them people hugging him and stuff like that. And then you see the pallbearers get the coffin out of the minibus van kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all you hear is the crowd just clapping, just clapping. They wasn't told to clap; they just started clapping.
Yeah.
It's just the most natural thing to happen. You know, they might not have known who he was. They may have seen a little bit, you know, a few clips of him racing. Some of them may have known him. You know, they might watch F2 or whatever, but you know, maybe the vast majority didn't know who he was, and they took the time out to go and honour him in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And just turn up, and his funeral went on for over 3 hours.
Bloody Christ.
Yeah,
that was a long time.
Yeah, Renault released a tweet, and I've got it here. I didn't plan this, honestly. Renault had a tweet, and it is Renault. Where did I put it? There we go. This is what Renault said, and this is what they tweeted out. Okay.
Mhm.
That's. I don't think it's that one. I think there's that one. There's two parts to this, right? There are men, and then there are great men. It has nothing to do with age or experience. They are the ones who make a difference. And sometimes this talent blooms early. Antoine was one of these greats. His easy smile, humility, gentle confidence, sense of humour, and steely determination never failed to bring out the best in others. There is a lot more paragraphs about him. Yeah. He was very highly thought of in the Renault camp, and his idol was Alain Prost, as I said. And for the French Grand Prix, he had a helmet designed on his idol, Alain Prost.
Yeah.
Alain Prost didn't know until a reporter told him after the race and said, after he won it, and said, "Do you know that he's got a helmet, designed like to be like yours?" And he said it's a great honour. It's a great honour for somebody to do that. And the national anthem was playing, and he's got his hand on his heart. He was loving it. He was in the pit lane with his French flag, and do you know what I mean? He was just a bundle of joy.
Yeah.
It's the best way to describe him. Anyway, I think we should go because this has been going on for nearly an hour and 40 minutes now. So, so if people want to find you, YouTube, FMZ Gaming.
FMZ Gaming, yeah.
Twitter.
You do what CTR Tez does.
Don't blame me and CTR. Twitter, do you have Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter, same thing. FMZ_ gaming. Yeah.
I'll just make sure. I think we do follow each other, don't we? That'll be embarrassing if we don't.
I believe we do.
Yeah, I believe we do. I even follow the other one that you've made up as well.
Oh, bring back. Brilliant.
Yes, we do follow each other. It's just told me.
Oh.
And
that's the awkward. Ooh.
And Twitch.
And Twitch is the same thing. FMZ_ gaming.
There you go.
It's all very on brand.
Mine isn't on brand, I can tell you that much. Mind you, I've got a thing on YouTube, so that's all right. So thank you for taking this time out.
Thank you for having me.
No, not a problem. This has been longer than the last one.
I'll come back if you want me to.
Oh yeah, definitely. Next time we could just do a whole 2 hours. I think we could do 2 hours.
Next time we can.
Try to edit this, but here's 2 hours of content for you to have. Yeah, no, it's been great. This has actually been the longest interview I've done so far, to be honest. So it's good.
I can talk for England.
No, but the thing is, I get nervous doing these because I've never done these kind of things before. I've been an interviewee, but never an interviewer. So it's kind of, what do I ask them? And I have I'd always talk off here, before we start recording. I say this is what I'm going to set out, and then if I pick up things, then we're talking about everything else in between.
Yeah. And an hour and 45 minutes later,
we're still going. I mean, what I'll do is I'll send you this over.
Yeah.
Probably tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, so you'll have the full unedited version. And if you want to edit out to whatever you want, that's fine. I know Tracker will probably edit down to about an hour and 10 minutes because that's Tracker. That's Tracker for you. But you'll have the unedited version, and you can do whatever you like with it. I'll obviously tell you when we're going to use it, so you know when we're going to, if we lose live on Twitter. Oh my God,
YouTube.
Can't speak. No, because what we do is we do the podcast live on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
So we do it live on twitch.tv/tracker57, and I've got that wrong because I think it's tracker_57.
Yeah, it is underscore. I think you're fine. Yeah.
Do you know what? So I just go now. I'm gonna go.
Bye.
Slam the door closed. Yeah. So twitch.tv/tracker_57, and I think they're doing it on Tuesday night, Tuesday 7 to 9, because we can't do it Saturday. Because Tracker needs some time with his family, obviously, and then we would do it on a Sunday, but we have people that only watch the Channel 4 highlights, so then they would stay away to not watch us.
To not know the results. And
yeah. Mind you, it takes us about an hour to get to. It takes us an hour to talk about all the stuff from the previous race, and then we have the general news. So we'll end up talking about obviously the funeral. That's probably what we're going to have to open up with because that happened in between, and then obviously the update on career because they've updated. They sent a statement out, didn't they, about one manual career? Did you know about this?
No.
Okay, so they
This is the other guy involved in the accident.
This is the guy that was awake after the accident. He was awake after the accident apparently. And he was awake until they put him under to operate on him.
I suppose that's one good thing. Obviously, at least if he was awake, his brain was functioning.
It hasn't been confirmed that he was awake. I've just seen it on a few sites, and again, a few sites say that he is aware that unfortunately Huber has lost his life. Now
imagine having to tell him that.
Well, apparently he already knows. So whether he knew after the thing happened, or I don't know. Whether he was still awake,
or whether he just realised the severity of what had occurred in front of him,
or at the medical centre. I don't know. But
yeah.
To know that, the fact that he had gone the right way to avoid an accident, and unfortunately had an accident. Which wasn't his fault,
No.
Nobody should blame, and nobody should be blaming the drivers or the chassis makers. Please do not. There's a YouTube video where they've done their best to, with what limited information we've got, explain what happened. And they have footage of the F2 feature race. They had footage of the top of the hill by Radion, when they've got their left kink, and then you've got a bit that you miss, and then you see the end of the runoff bit, or before it kinks right down the Kennel Straight. Now the official footage doesn't have that bit in the middle because the camera doesn't pick up that bit. Now there is amateur footage of that bit in the middle, so you do see, like I said, you see Hubert sort of go right, but he clips the car in front rear wheel and breaks his front wing. Unfortunately, the trajectory of him puts him into the barrier, and it bounces him round, and he would have been all right, except for he lurched forward a little bit, didn't he, I think? And then Correa has just gone completely the right way. He knows there's a run-off area. I'm going to use that to try and avoid slow cars in front of him. He's gone right. At some point, he's like I said, he lost his front wing, and then he was just a sitting target. He couldn't. There was nothing he was going to do. So there is a statement because obviously he was in induced coma. So let me just read it out. So one manual remains in the intensive care unit in a state of induced coma. Although his lungs have gradually recovered, his respiratory functions continue to be assisted by ECMO and a breathing ventilator. One manual's legs injuries remain an important concern and will undergo immediate surgery once his lungs are strong enough to withstand the procedure. More information will be provided when available.
It sounds promising, but it doesn't sound promising in terms of him getting back into a car again.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't ruin anybody, like drivers, spectators, even people that were working at the track. You know, the medical staff, the people cutting the cars, you know, to get them out and all that. I hope it doesn't affect any of them.
No.
But
Don't.
okay. So yeah, so there we go. So you've told it everywhere you are. We've said tracker. Oh god. Twitch.tv/tracker_57 if you want to come and watch us live. Then we do post them on to YouTube. We do put them onto YouTube, and obviously they go onto Podomatic and iTunes. There we go.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Will do.
And like I said, I'll send this over till tomorrow. Oh, I can't even speak now. Tomorrow evening. I'll send this over to you tomorrow.
No
All right. Thank you very much, mate.
All right. See you later.